I can't be forgiven.
Why?
Because what I did.
Consuming substances featured in this live video could harm your health. All right, TikTok, so you can recognize substances, but you can't recognize a child? I'm Jimmy Fritz. I need all you dozens of viewers out there to just tell me how you like this, alright? Welcome to the show. Alright, you guys. I know that up until this literal moment, my channel has been pretty lighthearted, fun, happy, etc. None of that's changing, nobody panic. It's just every now and then I see something that bothers me and I have to speak up about it. Especially in a situation like this where literally nobody is talking about it. I've kind of been agonizing over making this video for a really long time. I'm super uncomfortable talking about some of this stuff. But again, nobody is talking about it and I gotta do the right thing. I want to talk about TikTok, more specifically TikTok Live's platform, and why I personally think that it is the most dangerous thing I've seen on the internet for children since like LimeWire. There is something so fundamentally different to me about these things happening in real time, live. You know what I'm saying? So when the pandemic hit, I, much like everybody else that I knew, kind of went down the TikTok rabbit hole. I've been known to kill an hour or two scrolling through TikTok videos. And I was even more intrigued when I realized how they have their live platform set up. It's just very easily accessible. You hit the little live icon in the top left of the screen, and then TikTok gives you video after video after video of people who are live at that very moment. And in the beginning, it was super fun because I was seeing all fun, wholesome stuff. It was like people dancing, rapping, singing. This girl who always has a shoe on her head for some reason. When I was getting everybody's permission to like feature them in this video, she was super nice. I enjoyed it so much because I felt like the content I was seeing on TikTok Live was so diverse compared to what I saw on other apps. I was being shown people from all walks of life, all different ages, whereas YouTube tends to show you like the same people over and over. It was just a really unique way to view content, basically. I even started feeling a lot more confident about the thought of going live myself. I enjoy doing live videos and interacting with my viewers, but the culture is so different on TikTok than YouTube. Like on YouTube, to me, I always feel the pressure to be entertaining, whereas TikTok, like you don't have to overthink it at all. The culture is totally different. You can go live and get hundreds of viewers and you don't even have to be in the room. Seriously. There's something about TikTok in particular where people just do whatever they want. You can go live completely hammered.
Whoa, that was a burp.
Go live for a few minutes just to kind of rant.
Anybody scared of none of that? Like, you got talking like that. I've been talking like that.
Cause people get, they get all butt hurt.
Chilling, breathing, existing, literally staring at the camera and not speaking. There's a ton of preachers on there.
God sent you here, glory to God.
Yes, sir.
He's even got a hype man. So I'm like, okay, TikTok Live rules, it's diverse, it's fun. I'm seeing new things, I'm learning new things, and then it stopped ruling and became very, very disturbing. So the first thing I want to talk about before we get into like the prison people and all that, I just want to point out that I've seen more bullying and harassment on TikTok Live specifically than I ever have on any platform of social media, and that's after doing it for a living for 5 years and being just an internet user for like the 20 years prior to that. There's something about TikTok Live culture that is just insanely toxic. Prime example is I was watching this girl's live here and I was just taken aback by this guy's comments. I mean, he literally every 5 seconds was just verbally her. So right here, do you require somebody helping bathe you? 5 seconds later. When's the last time you got out of bed? 5 seconds later. How many bed sores do you have? She eats her feelings. How many times did you go to McDonald's today? People telling her to bark, like just wanting to humiliate her for whatever reason. Your face ruined my Thanksgiving. When her kid came in, poor thing looks just like his mama. Can your kid run? Before anybody makes the argument like, look, she's an adult, she put herself out there, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. But please understand that with this app in particular, children go live just like that constantly, and there are a total of 0 safeguards put in place to protect them from language like that. No age requirements, nothing. The only requirement TikTok has before you can go live is that you have to have 1,000 followers. Hey, editing Jamie here. I was wrong. TikTok does have an age requirement. Technically, you have to be 16 in order to go live, but they have no way of proving that. So again, right here, I have an example of a literal child going live in her room. Obviously, I'm concealing everything about her, but the comments she was getting from grown adult men were literally shocking to me. Again, not saying it doesn't exist on other apps. I had just never seen it happen on another app. And I mean, this generation of children, they are on TikTok. And then there's the other argument, which is it's the parent's responsibility to like shield these kids from this stuff. Yes, correct. But when the parents don't care, the app should.
So your mom has no problem with grown men asking you to unzip your top?
Yeah, I watch it. Don't worry. She ain't unzipping nothing.
When the parents don't care, the app should. You know, YouTube is an example to me of an app that has really cracked down when it comes to like content involving minors. At least from what I've seen, I'm not the authority on it. At the very least, we should be able to report these people, right? Because this is bullying, this is harassment. Some of these cases, it was straight up. So in both of these situations, I attempted to report the people who were saying stuff like this, and I'm going to show you the response I got. We received your report. Thank you for helping us keep TikTok safe. You'll get a notification when we review your report. 5 seconds later, I got a notification that said we didn't find any violations. We found that the reported content doesn't violate our community guidelines. We understand that you may not want to see this type of content and you have the option to block this account. So not only is there a huge problem here because the app didn't recognize that it was literally against their community guidelines because it was bullying and harassment, they can't even tell the difference between a comment and content. I was reporting somebody's comment and I got told this content doesn't violate our community guidelines. It's so stupid because they have this community guidelines little disclaimer that occurs right before you start watching anybody's live video. Welcome to TikTok Live. Have fun interacting with others in real time and remember to follow our community guidelines. Well, what are your community guidelines, TikTok? Because I just saw grown men live streaming from prison and inviting literal children to join their live. Before I made this video, I asked a few people's opinions and I showed them what I was going to talk about. One person said, I don't know if that's really prison. I don't see this, and this. I think they're faking it for views, etc. If that's the case, I'm glad. I hope that's what it is, okay? But to me, it seems like it's real.
But I don't plan on wearing no type of orange when I get out.
I don't know how they got a smartphone. That's a whole other subject. But the point is, nowadays, nothing would surprise me, and it appears to me that these are grown men live streaming from prison. Think about the potential of how wrong this could go. It's not to hate on anybody who's in prison, okay? I've had friends, family members. I've been to prisons literally to visit somebody I love. Like, it's no shade to these gentlemen. This is facilitating kids talking to strangers. I understand we can't always prevent it, but we don't want to facilitate it, right? I can't even count how many times I've been watching a grown adult live on TikTok. A little kid starts commenting, let me join, because they think it's fun or something. And it's literally, okay, the click of a button. And these odd interactions between adults and children are occurring in real time for an audience.
Let me join it. Look, okay, you can join. I'm gonna put in your place too.
Are you though? Because it's a child. Even I tried to sort of justify or like defend TikTok in my own mind. At first I was like, okay, this is an app. It's not a person. They can't possibly control or even know what people are doing in a live video. And then one day I see again people live streaming from prison and I see this little disclaimer at the bottom of my screen. It says consuming substances featured in this live video could harm your health. All right, TikTok, so you can recognize substances that personally I didn't even see in that video, but you can't recognize a child, a living, breathing human child speaking words. Some people like watching this happen speak up and say something. They are children. Whose kids are those? Why are you streaming with little kids, etc. But then everyone just moved on and was like, hey, how can I put money on your books? Y'all trying to be in love after lockup? And I'm just, why is nobody talking about this or doing anything? Am I like crazy? Please tell me if I am. I'm open to criticism. This is not right to me. And again, I'm not trying to just harp on anybody who's in prison. It is absolutely not limited to just people in prison. I didn't have to search at all to find grown adult after grown adult after grown adult bringing children into their live video. Right here again, this lady brings on a 13-year-old boy.
Hi.
How old are you?
I'm 13.
A few nights ago, this lady brings this child on.
And I just want you to know you're very pretty.
Thank you.
That kid was smart enough to not show his face. But my gosh, not every little innocent child can rationalize something like that. These kids want to join the live because they think it's fun. They're not always capable of seeing the bigger picture and realizing how dangerous that is. It's the adult's responsibility to not bring kids into their live video and have these weird, inappropriate interactions in front of hundreds of people watching and commenting whatever they want. These kids are literally seeing into these grown adults' bedrooms, and worse, if the kid goes live, the grown adults are seeing into their bedrooms and making comments about it. I feel like for most of you, I don't have to explain this like this. I don't have to explain why this is so insanely problematic, but for those of you who do need the explanation, just think about it like this. A child joining a strange man or woman's live video is literally talking to strangers, which is what we train kids not to do, with the added weirdness of that said adult audience watching it all happen and commenting whatever they want. Also seeing these kids and watching them in their own homes and bedrooms. You can't edit live videos to shield kids from things they shouldn't see. You can't filter out comments. The most you can do, that I've seen at least, is you can get a mod or a moderator, and half the time when someone is like, hey, will you moderate for me, and like block people who are saying things I don't want them to say, half the time moderators are children. Again, right here we have a grown adult talking to what appeared to me to be two underage girls. I don't exactly know how old they are, but the one on the bottom, someone commented and said she was 16. I don't know, but he's sitting there talking about his love life and his relationships with a 16-year-old girl. Maybe some of you guys don't think that that's that weird. Even someone commented and was like, they're having a conversation, they're not doing anything inappropriate.
They can't forgive me because I don't deserve forgiveness. I can't be forgiven
Why?
because what I did.
I don't want to get super dark and like get all into speculating what could happen, but if you use your common sense, you think about how impressionable children are, even just through DMs or text, reading text from somebody. Imagine how much more manipulative a grown adult could be with their facial expressions and tone of voice. You know what I'm saying? This is a recipe for disaster. And guys, the stuff that I'm showing is mild. It is mild compared to what I've heard that people actually do live on TikTok. I haven't seen anything extremely explicit, but I've heard from my peers and other creators and people on Twitter, I've heard from literally everyone that there is straight up explicit content allowed live, real time on TikTok with zero safeguards in place for children who are the primary users of this app. I've seen people go live just to twerk. The kids are in the room reading the comments as they come in. Explicit comments. And again, we can make the argument like that's the parent's choice, that's the parent's fault. What the parent chooses to do with her daughter in the room is up to her. Fine, but again, if TikTok could possibly have some sort of safeguard in place that the other apps have, maybe this little bitty girl wouldn't have had to have been exposed to these grown men's explicit comments, despite the fact that her mom doesn't seem to care. Anyway, that's all for me today, guys. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer, I'm just bothered, you know. If someone who works for TikTok happens to see this, please do better. Thanks for being here, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys next time. Love you.